And we are live.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to Soldiers of Science. Diamond Hands, Chicken Tendies. We welcome all of it to this episode number 9. Soldiers of Science. It's a crazy world we live in, brother. Oh man.
Just madness, the times, the world that we live in. I saw a tweet that was amazing. It was like all the memes all put together into one, like Trump doing his super awkward dance and Dogecoin and Tendies falling down, and the tagline was "This is the world we live in," or no, "This is the world we created."
Yeah, we built this.
Yeah,
We built this.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thank you for stopping by, the live viewers and the recorders alike. Welcome back. We got a jam-packed show for you today. We're talking a lot about the oncoming tsunami of crypto dominance. A lot of crazy stuff happened just this past week. We were actually attended a little bit of a conference that we'll talk about. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of that. There's some cool stories, things happening across the world of science. I got my buddy Easy E here, my dog, who will probably bug me during the show and want to be let out. So just a heads up to everybody there. But with that, let's get this thing kicked off, Alex.
Let's go. Let's roll it.
Yeah. Yes. That shit is live, dude. Feeling that, man. That gets me hype. Oh, dude. Speaking of hype, where do we start? Where do we start?
It's a tough one. Maybe we should go over the Wall Street madness, or I think everyone's kind of been like burnt out on all that GME and AMC and Silver Squeeze and all this, but
yeah.
Diamond Hands and Tendies.
Diamond Hands, Tendies, Wall Street bets. It's just weird times. Like, it just seems like people that I would never have associated with caring at all about anything in finance or stocks or Wall Street. It's like, it's just bizarre to see the breadth,
the hype,
the hype, exactly, and the breadth of people that are talking about it. That a year ago would be like, what? You care about anything related to this?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Let's see, what specifically should we start with? And I think people are kind of burnt out with the whole Wall Street bets thing.
You want to jump into the conference? You want to jump right into the conference?
Let's do it. Let's do it. So there was a conference this week.
Michael Saylor, Microstrategy,
CEO of Microstrategy, and Microstrategy as a enterprise put on this event. And there was a lot of the MicroStrategy product related content over the course of 2 days, February 3rd and February 4th.
It's their yearly conference, MicroStrategy's yearly conference, and they added the whole cryptocurrency Bitcoin entity to it.
They added an entire 2-day agenda, all for Bitcoin for corporations. And it was everything you can think of, from legal, regulatory, all the different components of the finance mechanisms of an enterprise, and how those types of entities could go about putting parts of their balance sheet into cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy did. I don't know if you know off top, Alex, how much they've put in, but I know it's over, I think, $1 billion at this point.
1.5. Essentially, they started out with, I think, roughly around $500 million, like 500 million. And then they actually took out debt to kind of double down. But yeah, if you listeners out there and viewers haven't seen some of the interviews with Michael Saylor on YouTube, he's been interviewed by pretty much everybody. He talks in depth about how he got in. And it's actually a really interesting story. Like, he had to, of course, speak to all the major stakeholders at first, of the major stakeholders of MicroStrategy, to let them know, hey, we're taking the treasury, we're taking the balance sheet, and we're putting it into Bitcoin, and to get buy-in from them, because obviously they're all stakeholders. And most of them were cool with it, but obviously there was a couple that were absolutely not okay with it. And Michael already had a backup plan, or his whole team already had a backup plan for that. And essentially they just bought him out. They just bought out all their stock, and they gave him a little bit more, right? And the stock at that time was like 200. I don't know if you guys, or if you, Tone, have seen it today, but it just went up another 40 or something, and it's up another like 40 after hours.
Yeah, it's up over $800 now, right?
Yeah, it's over 800. Yeah. And
Yeah.
my friend of mine was like,
It's crazy.
it hit 500, and he's like, dude, you need to buy the stock. I'm like, I don't know, it's 500. Well, that was like 2 weeks ago, and now it's 800.
Now
So
it's 800 and climbing. So it's crazy, because it's kind of like a kind of a slick little hedge for people that maybe don't want to necessarily expose themselves directly right now to Bitcoin or crypto. Just expose yourself to the MicroStrategy stock in the your regular SEC regulated market, and boom, you're basically taking a gamble on an entity backed by Bitcoin. And it's crazy to see the power of that. And this was really what was the primary focus of that Bitcoin component of the MicroStrategy. I think it was called MicroStrategy World Now or something like that. But that was the primary focus for them, was to kind of just open source and talk openly about the whole process of moving their balance sheet. Hold on just a minute. Just like I said, the dog's going to beg me to be out right now. Hold on.
All good. Yeah, they open sourced everything, and they published essentially every step that they took to, as a corporation, to securely and legally and to meet all the regulatory standards to acquire Bitcoin. So all that is now public. I haven't looked for it. Hope.com. So Michael Saylor owns Hope.com. He used to be like a huge fanatic of buying domain names. And he actually owns, like, I don't know if it's hundreds, but he owns a lot of really unique domain names. And I'm pretty sure he said he was going to publish all of that. That whole process. MicroStrategy adopts Bitcoin as a primary treasury reserve asset. No, these are just articles, but in one of his interviews, he mentioned that on Hope.com he would publish all of the documentation required to purchase Bitcoin as a corporation. So
yeah, it's really exciting, because it's pioneering. I think I really think that that's how I categorize what him and MicroStrategy are doing. Is really being out there on the front lines of the frontier of legitimization of Bitcoin into the corporate world. And it was really cool to see some of the content, and a lot of the keynotes and guest speakers that they had were just fascinating businesses that are fast growing in this industry. Folks like Coinbase and Kraken and Grayscale, a lot of these big names that are just still not really well known to the masses. But this I think conference specifically will help to, at least on the business side of things, really expedite the speed at which it gets adopted. Things are happening crazy now with crypto in general, but Bitcoin specifically, it's just madness.
It just blows my mind that, like you just said, like a lot of people haven't even heard of Kraken, and some people even vaguely know what Coinbase is, and like that just boggles my mind. I guess we've just been, or I've been deep into it for too long.
You've been deep in it longer than me, and I'm deep in it. I've only been like this deep into it for like 2 months, but it feels like 3 years, because I'm like so deep in right now. I've been like, it's like nonstop, 24/7.
Our mutual friend Brandino, shout out to Brando. He's the one that first introduced me to Coinbase. I think, like, when he was working as a contractor, and he actually was doing a job at Ripple, XRP, Ripple.
No way.
Yeah, and then so that's when he like first got into it. This was right around 2017. Like I can't remember if it was before the Bitcoin hit 19,000 all-time high or after. I want to say it was like literally during that time. Like the XRP went up to, what was it, like $3 and then crashed back down. So he got kind of into it because he met the VP of IT there. And
That's awesome.
anyway, I was like, oh yeah, how are you buying? Like I had so many questions. I'm like, because I wanted to get into it, but I hadn't, figured out how to do it yet. He's like, oh yeah, I just got Coinbase. Like, I don't know, like I'm figuring it out. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, and I got, dude, I found out from you. I'm like, what should I be doing? How I get into this? And I found, you told me Coinbase. I went on there, and man, I've been doing some things in there just in the past 45 days, and I'm already up, quite a bit in that short amount of time. It's pretty crazy to see the momentum right now.
Yeah. There's some people out there that, I mean, I can't imagine, like diamond hands. If you were able to buy Bitcoin, like really any time before December this year, last year, 2020.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some people out there that I know that bought Bitcoin very early on. I think most of them have sold it like well before 2020. And I'm sure they're just kind of like, that's why you gotta have those diamond hands, man. You gotta stay strong.
Just hodl.
Yeah. Hodl. It's like you said earlier, we were having a conversation. One of Warren Buffett's famous lines, it's not time in the market, it's time in the market, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the asset that you're investing in has to be, worth something. It has to have some kind of fundamental value. And that's like one of the biggest arguments against Bitcoin is it has no fundamental value. It doesn't, it's so we can get down that rabbit hole now or at some point, but
yeah, we can go down that rabbit hole. We could do a whole episode on just that.
Yeah, we should.
Because there is a very deep rabbit hole, and it is fascinating.
I want to break down the white papers, like the Satoshi papers. Like if we do that, then we should just break it all down. We can start talking about SHA-256s and hashing and
Merkle trees
and
transactions
and
yes, dude. I mean, it's great. We'll do a special episode, right? And we'll let people know, hey, this is going to be crypto
Bitcoin special,
in-depth Bitcoin special. I love it. I love it. So what else is going on, man? I mean,
let's just touch on the pandemic real quick.
Okay.
Kind of get it out of the way. I know people are probably not trying to,
it's tough.
It's tough. Yeah. Especially with the news. Like I just read on Twitter that the governor of Iowa is like loosening all restrictions pretty much. And she's basically just saying like, try to be responsible, but no more mask requirements, no more.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no more minimum human count requirements indoor and or outdoor. And basically she just said like if you're over 65, you should just stay home. I mean, the lady, I'm pretty sure, is over 65. It's like,
wow.
It's kind of
she herself.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling that, I mean, I get it. I get people with frustrating perspectives on wanting to just go back to the way things were. But
Reynolds.
Everyone's got a breaking point, but you can't put other people's lives at risk because you're at a breaking point. It's just irresponsible.
Yeah, the comments are hysterical. Yeah, Kim Reynolds. Headline from NPR quoting Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds has eliminated most of the state's COVID-19 restrictions, including mask requirements in public places and caps on indoor and outdoor gatherings. So, obviously we got to get economies back up and running. We got to get restaurants back up in business, but we can, I feel that we can do these things and still have mask requirements and
and safe mechanisms. It's oh man.
All right, let me just let me share.
Because you know what, this is like for us as Americans. We're right around the 1 year mark of when the early rumblings of this stuff.
Yeah, we're like 2 months away, basically.
Right? Because it was like March. It was like first week of March, though, when everybody started to shut shit down.
Yep.
First or second week of March, I think.
So global cases 105 million, US 26,807,202. Deaths in the US 459,356. We are number one, I believe, in both of those categories in terms of deaths and cases. But it's because we have the best testing in the world.
Yeah.
And
speaking of which, I'm scheduled for my first test next Friday.
Oh, really?
Next Friday, I'm getting my first COVID test.
Why are you getting a test?
Just for a routine thing I got to do.
Oh, okay, nice.
So yeah,
that's fun.
My wife's been tested like 3 or 4 times, negative all the time, of course. But
yeah,
this will be my first time, so I'm nervous.
You'll be all right.
All right.
I've never gotten a test. In California, I tried getting a test twice, just for precautionary reasons, and it was just so complicated. And there is one place I can go to. There's one place I can drive up to, and it's like basically a 3-hour line. So you just got to be ready to sit in the car for 3 hours, and then you can get your test. But they have a free one here. It's like every other week. It sells out. It fills up like instantaneously. So I think you have to get on the server at midnight 01, hit refresh, and then
to get an appointment.
To get an appointment. So, but then I heard in Texas, you can just pretty much go anywhere, and according to our mutual friend again, you can get a test. So, I don't know. I don't know what's more challenging about California than elsewhere. Right?
Yeah.
I won't point any fingers, but
Yeah. Speaking of challenging, the vaccine distribution is another element of this. Ever-evolving saga.
I want the vaccine.
I want the vaccine. I've signed up for it. There's myturn.ca.gov, I think.
Signed up as well.
But we're not going to hear for a while.
No.
Hopefully, I mean, you would think that because they're prioritizing, but I don't know. I just don't know what's happening.
The thing that grinds my gears the most is like 40% of vaccines are discarded, or at least maybe that's a false headline and I'm generalizing too much. But what I'm hearing from people and reading, one of my, again, another mutual friend of ours, his wife is a nurse in California. And she said that 1/3 of nurses do not want the vaccine, are not taking the vaccine. A third, wow. I think that's statistically accurate, at least within the state of California.
I've heard it's substantial.
Yeah. And so what they do every day is like they get a shipment, they get an allocation of vaccines, and then they try to vaccinate everybody, but a third decline. And those vaccines, because of the conditions in which you have to refrigerate them, I think specifically with the Pfizer and the Moderna, maybe it's not as cold, right? But you still need 2 shots. Pfizer, you have to be super cold.
Yeah.
2 shots. Yeah. So with the Pfizer one, like a third or 40% are just getting, they're expiring. Can't use them. It's like, dude, just give me some. Pass them out. So what Israel did, I thought was brilliant. They got their allocation every day to the hospitals. They vaccinated as many people as they could. And then with everything left over, they literally went out they're going in the streets and they're pulling people over. Like,
you want a vaccination?
You want a vaccination? Yeah. I don't know how they're keeping track. That's what I would really like to understand is like, how do they know who got 1 and who got 2? And I don't even know what vaccine they're using, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, that too. Do they have their own? Well, do you know that they just announced the Johnson & Johnson one, or Johnson & Johnson is looking for emergency approval.
Yeah,
for their single shot. I think it's a single shot vaccine.
Yeah,
it's not a
single shot,
2 shot like the other ones.
Yeah, I think AstraZeneca is also single, or is it dual? That one doesn't require cooling.
Oh,
cold storage, like Bitcoin. But yeah, I don't know if it's 1 or 2.
It was amazing. I was talking to my wife about cold storage. She's like, how are you going to put all that stuff in a freezer? What do you do with it? Clueless. She's like, you're not offering like freezing services. I'm like,
Yeah. Deep freezer services.
yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna come to your house and we will refrigerate your steak for you.
Yeah, yes. So good, dude. I love it. I love you, babe. Watch this. Sorry.
I called my wife out, I think last episode. I was like, oh, my wife doesn't watch these anyway. And I was literally in the living room the other day and she starts staring at me. She's all mad. It's like, you called me out. I'm like, what? What are you watching? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, I'm watching your podcast. I'm like, you're actually watching it? Wow. Okay, cool.
Oh, that's good. That's the little breadcrumbs that we leave in these episodes to see if anybody's watching. Right. We love you, wives.
We do.
Oh,
we
man.
wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys. So.
That's right. Include especially this. Thank you both. And with that, I mean, let's wrap up this topic because it's hard. I know it's hard to stomach. And people have tuned it out and gone tone deaf, but more people are dying or have died.
People are dying. That's just like, if we can all just have that consensus. I just wish we could just have that consensus.
Even that, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Like people are dying of COVID-19.
Right. Yeah.
So do your part. Do what you can. Please wear a mask. Please just be smart. Just be smart. You know.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, moving on. What do we have on the platter for the next topic of conversation?
I've got an interesting little one. Maybe we can just kind of, a little segue here. This astronomer A.V. Loeb, who is a Harvard University professor, has a shocking hypothesis that aliens have visited Earth. He says here.
Let's dig into this. Let's go.
Let's dig into this a little bit. So he says here, he's a prolific Harvard University astrophysicist who has produced pioneering and provocative research on black holes, gamma ray bursts, the early universe, and other standard topics of his field. But for more than a decade, he has also courted a more contentious subject, namely space aliens, including how to find them. I'm kind of paraphrasing here from a Scientific American article that talks about his theories about extraterrestrials. And he says here, it says here that his most high-profile work in that regard was his involvement with Breakthrough Starshot, a project funded by Silicon Valley billionaire Yuri Milner to send laser-boosted, gossamer-thin, mirror-like spacecraft called light sails on high-speed voyages to nearby stars. All that began to change in late 2017, however, when astronomers around the world scrambled to study an enigmatic interstellar visitor, the first ever seen that briefly came within range of their telescopes. This is incredibly fascinating stuff here. Let me.
What source are you referencing?
This is the Scientific American.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the news right now. I saw it like in my Twitter feed and USA Today, Forbes, SF Chronicle. So it's definitely a big story right now.
Yeah, this is really wild. Pancake-like shape of this craft.
Are you set up to share your screen?
Oh yeah, let me share.
Are you Chrome tabbing it?
I am Chrome tabbing.
I watched a bunch of YouTube channels and they're all sharing links and all shit. So I think it's
okay.
It's as long as we call out the reference that we are referencing, we should be fine.
Perfect. So here we go then. We are going to share the Scientific American now. Let me know when you can see that.
Perfect.
All right. So this is the article here. Astronomer A.V. Loeb says aliens have visited, and he's not kidding. It's just really, really fascinating. And we'll go down here to where I was just kind of breaking through the first paragraph here. The objects discoverers dubbed it. I won't even attempt to say this, but
I think it's a Hawaiian word, right? It's that long asteroid.
Oumuamua.
Yeah, Oumuamua.
There it is. a Hawaiian term that roughly translates to scout.
Yeah, we've been talking about this asteroid for a long time, man. I don't know.
Unavoidably cursory examinations of the celestial passerby showed it had several properties that defied easy natural explanation. I've seen an article about this thing. It's like that long, elongated thing, right? They think that
it's like moving faster than it should be, or it's moving slower than it's supposed to be, but by its mass or something. Like,
yeah, there's like hypotheses that it is a probe from another species.
Yeah, from another
highly intelligent species,
solar system or galaxy. Probably not galaxy, but I mean, who knows? Within our galaxy, though, there should be. I believe there's at least bacterial life within our galaxy.
This is incredibly fascinating. Do you see this? It says it's at least 10 times more reflective than one of our solar system's typical space rocks, shiny enough to suggest the gleam of burnished metal. And most strangely, as it zoomed off after swooping by the sun, the object sped up faster than could be explained by our star's waning gravitational grip alone. Run-of-the-mill comets can exhibit similar accelerations because of the rocket-like effect of evaporating gases jetting from their sunlight-warmed icy surfaces, but no signs of such jets were seen on Oumuamua. To Loeb, the most plausible explanation was as obvious as it was sensational. Taken together with its pancake-like shape and high reflectivity, Oumuamua's anomalous acceleration made perfect sense if the object was in fact a light sail, perhaps a derelict from some long-expired galactic culture. Wow. Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, you can't discount it. I mean, if like mathematically we've calculated the trajectory and the velocity of this object, and it is accelerating, and there's no visible way to explain why it's accelerating, then what can you say about that?
Yeah. Wow. And it goes on into this full-on interview with him in this article. This is fantastic. Wow. And he's just doing nonstop interviews. It looks like he was on Rogan.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan for their shows. Wow. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff indeed.
Yep. I always wanted to work for SETI when I was younger. Thought that'd be pretty cool.
Yes.
But apparently it's obviously kind of a boring job. Like you really, really have to be into like detecting a signal and knowing that potentially your entire life and your entire career's work will result in not detecting a signal.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But yeah, I think we should continue to fund that program. I think the previous administration also reduced funding, if not almost eliminated it. So,
yeah, we need to bring that. I mean, it's a viable effort, I believe, as well.
Yep.
And that was a cool little side story there. So moving right along, we've got some other things that we wanted to talk about today. I think one thing. Go ahead, Alex. Actually, you were going to carry us into the next topic.
No. Actually, okay. I don't have anything lined up quite yet.
Okay, no worries. I was gonna. Okay, if that's cool, then I'm gonna jump into this next topic, which is something I've been thinking about in the last couple of weeks. Is that strangely enough, after the insurrection, which that was our 2 episodes ago. Our last episode was the inauguration.
Yeah.
Since those 2 events in January, I've had this strange, and maybe it's just this vacuum I live in, and being detached from society and not interacting with other human beings in person for a long time. But I just feel like I can't help but feel this different energy. Again, I'm trying not to be like
since like the day after the inauguration, or since
I think since like the week of the inauguration, really,
Yeah.
because that week kind of was quiet, and there was a lot of like worry and concern that it wasn't going to be quiet.
Yeah.
But it ended up being kind of quiet.
What is this energy you're feeling? A positive energy, a negative energy?
It's positive, but I'm also, I don't know. I guess I'm reluctant to make the assumption that everyone feels it. Maybe maybe it's just something in my head. Maybe just like because I've seen a switch in myself, and I'm not like, I don't know, negatively affected by news cycles of toxicity 24/7 as much as I have been. Over the previous 4 years, 5 years. I've just felt like it's lifted in a big way that I can't explain the suddenness of, other than, hey, this is, I guess, it's just the way it works. Like we had a bad regime and it sucked all the way up to the minute that it didn't, and now it's gone. And not to say that there's world peace and there's rainbows and butterflies around every corner and nook and cranny. There's problems still, big problems. But I just think the incessant, pervasive nature of negativity has eased up.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel the same way. And every time I start thinking about that, I kind of catch myself. I was like, well, we're assuming that this current administration is going to, I don't assume they're going to fix all of our problems, but we're assuming that, things are going to come back to like kind of a normal political theater that we're used to, at least from previous administrations. But definitely don't want to like let my guard down either. Like I want to make sure that, like, what are they doing? What are they really going to do? And, but yes, the way in which the current administration communicates and will continue to communicate is an opportunity for me to kind of relax a little bit.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. And that's,
you said it so well. It's so eloquently put that it's a more palatable form of political theater, one that we're much more accustomed to. And
like, even if there's fuckery behind the scenes, which there will be.
Oh, for sure.
At least we're getting the not. I was gonna use the word illusion, but that's not the right word. That's not the word I'm looking for. At least we're getting the semblance of knowing like what they're doing and what's going on. With the previous administration, like you had no idea what was gonna happen. Like they would say one thing, the next day it'd be another thing. Like 2 hours later, a tweet later. Like it was just complete chaos.
Complete chaos, bipolar chaos.
But now at least it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. You may or may not agree with it, but at least there's like a plan. We're gonna stick with the plan. We're gonna try to execute the plan as best as we can.
Yeah, and this is like,
this is the direction we're heading.
Say what you will about the way that it works in earnest in a political sphere, but at least there is a difference between folks that do try and do the right thing. They may not always be able to, and they may make bad decisions, but in earnest, they're trying to do the right thing, and they care about their reputation and about the reputation of the country and about how we're perceived. As a leader, not just as a winner or a dominant, shrewd corporation of a country, but as a leader in an empathetic collection of individuals, sophisticated society of people that take care of their own and also want to build bridges and collaborate with the rest of the world to, expand the capabilities of our species with a forward-thinking approach. That didn't happen in this previous administration. There was no effort. There was just corrupt on its face, and there was no apology for it. There was
just chaos,
nepotism up and down, right? And just absolute chaos. It's the best word for it.
It makes me like feel really. And I'm not naive. Like I know there's people like this all over the world, and like all governments and all countries but it's just like, it was a huge reminder for me, especially when they were like leaving, like they left and like nobody showed up to the inauguration, and it was just basically like middle fingers in the air, and they were all like smiling as they were like getting to Florida, and they were all just happy, and it just made me so sad, like, to know that there are human beings that are so detached from reality, and so detached from our species, our planet, like everything. And just to be so self-contained in your bubble. And it's okay to be self-contained in your bubble as long as you're aware of kind of what's happening around you and you respect the earth that you live on and the people that are around you. But to be in your bubble and to literally like be the
just to
anti everything,
act with reckless abandon. I mean,
and then to have a following so massive is like,
yeah. It I don't think abusive is too strong of a term. It felt like an abusive relationship.
oh, it was a catastrophically abusive relationship.
It was abusive relationships throughout. Like there's abusive relationships that developed because of all of that, like within families, within immediate families, fathers and sons and daughters and husbands and wives not able to talk to each other or have a civil conversation.
Yeah, it literally tore families apart all over the country. Families were torn apart during this election cycle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And not because, well, I mean, the pandemic played a role because, like, obviously we politicized wearing masks. So you had like some family members like, no, like I would like to wear a mask. I'm trying to do the right thing. And the other family members are going, you're an idiot. There's no virus or whatever the argument is.
Yeah, ugly stuff.
Ugly stuff.
All just in people caught in the crossfire of political carelessness and irresponsibility and downright, just kind of manipulation.
But I feel you. I definitely felt. I feel like every week I have a new kind of energy. But I definitely felt like a weight lifted off. Like, okay, now I can focus back on my life. For those of you who may not know, I may be relocating to a different location in the hopefully near future, 2 to 3 months. So I've been able to kind of like refocus my attention on that. I don't know if we were going to make an announcement today. Maybe we'll wait for the next podcast, but Tone and Flex are working on some other side hustle business project as well that I believe we will make a formal announcement when the time is right.
Yes.
And so yeah, it's just great to be able to focus again on things that mean a lot more to us than,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then politics, who's president and what they have to say on social media, or all the litany of corrupt, backwards things they're up to.
I mean, we gotta always keep paying attention to every politician and everything that they say, but it can be overwhelming, especially when it's just constantly negative. Like, at least if we have the majority of politicians that are trying to move in a positive direction with a positive cadence, then you can kind of go, okay, like, oh, okay, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of be a little bit more in the background.
You still hold people to account.
Yeah.
And you still hold people accountable for their actions. That's, no one is exempt from that.
No.
None of us are in our day-to-day lives. We're not going to get off the hook with our, friends and family for out of line behavior, nor should anyone else. And especially people that are in, positions of leadership. Especially those folks. They should be held to a higher level of accountability.
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
Completely off topic?
Absolutely. Please do.
Elon Musk just tweeted a survey.
Oh, boy.
The future currency of Earth.
Oh my God. This is going to be fun.
Option 1, Dogecoin to the moon.
Oh, my God.
Option 2, all other crypto combined. And so I voted all other crypto combined because I do not support Dogecoin in any way, shape, or form. And Dogecoin is winning by 76% right now.
Yeah, it's the millennials, dude. Is
I
it
mean, I know it's a
millennial?
joke, but like
The
it literally is a joke, and people are literally okay.
Gen,
What are we at now?
Gen
Dogecoin.
Zers, the Gen Zers.
Dogecoin has a volume of $1.38 billion. It is currently at 5 cents, and the market cap. Do I get the market cap on this? No, I gotta log into my Coinbase. It's in the billions of dollars. It's insane.
I don't understand what it is. Like what? How is it? How is it?
I mean, if you literally read the description in Coinbase, Dogecoin is a cryptocurrency that was created as a joke. Its name is a reference to a popular internet meme. It shares many features with Litecoin. However, unlike Litecoin, there is no hard cap on the number of Dogecoins that can be produced. So it can have an infinite number. It's literally backed by nothing.
So there's no worth.
$6.4 billion. There is 6.4 billion US treasury notes worth of currency that is injected into a joke. So, I mean, hey, do what you will. Like, I was looking at it when it was 3 cents. I could have put 10 grand in it. It's at 5 cents. You know, could have made a whole lot of money, and I'm sure it's probably going to go to 10 or $1.
Yeah.
But this is not financial advice here. I'm
No,
not
it is
encouraging
not.
anyone to
Please.
buy Dogecoin.
No. Do what you will at your own risk.
Yeah.
We're not advising any of that.
But yeah, this is the world we live in now.
It is the world we live in,
This
and
is
it's
the
just
world
like
we live
it's inexplicable because that's the whole reason that. Oh man, I just don't even. It's the whole reason the fiat is, risky and susceptible to bottoming out because it can be printed infinitely.
Yeah.
If you have a cryptocurrency that can be printed infinitely, what's the value?
I'm not an expert. I've listened to every angle inside of this. Like, here's my perception. We are printing at an unprecedented rate. We've printed, 30 or 40% of all the US dollars that were ever printed in 2020 alone.
Mhm.
Biden, the House, so the Senate passed with the filibuster from Harris. It's in the House. I think it's passing now. They're trying to figure out the $15 minimum wage. It looks like they might have to let go of that in order to move forward. But that's going to pass, right? It's going to be another $1.9 trillion. The dollar, the value of the dollar will continue to decrease, right? So your $1 million home in California in 10 years will cost you $2 million, $5 million, right? What's another good example? Like, it doesn't affect commodities as the same way, but essentially your buying power is being reduced, right? Every year. And that was Michael Saylor's whole thing about Bitcoin. And that's what a lot of these guys' whole thing about Bitcoin is. Your dollar buying power is reducing now at a rate of about 15 to 20% per year. That sounds extreme. It's all relative. But when you look at home prices in the last year, they've all gone up 15, 20%. So your buying power, at least for that asset, has gone down. So over time, as we print more, it will continue to go down. The buying power, does it mean it's going to go to zero? Maybe. All currencies fail. Like, the average lifespan of a fiat currency is 27 years. We've been officially off of the dollar standard since, I can't remember what year in the 70s, but in the 70s.
I think 77.
70, I want to say 77 as well. So yeah, this is why you're seeing equities go through the roof. People are putting all their money into equities. People are buying homes like there's no tomorrow. And Bitcoin is at 40,000 or 39. What is it now? 39.9. So
it may hit 40 before we are wrapped up here tonight.
Sorry, did I say 39.9?
Yeah.
I'm going to say 38.9 and we'll back up to 39. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, your buying power is going to go down. That's a fact. That's a mathematical fact. If you have a savings, a life savings, and it's all in dollars or euros or many other, reserve currency assets, your buying power will decrease. So you have to find another mechanism to beat at least that inflation, right? That inflation rate. If you believe it's 15 or 20%, you got to find something that's going to get you 15 to 20% per year just to stay even. And if you believe it's less, 5 to 10%, then you still need to find that 5 to 10% asset that can build up your wealth by that rate. And Michael Saylor, again, I keep going back to him, but he's the one that it really clicked in my mind as well. The way he explained it is he's looked at everything. Like bonds are like all time low. The interest rates on bonds are shit. Equities, you look at what are the best equities? Like all the biggest tech stocks, they're all at all time highs. Can they go higher? Sure. Will they? Maybe. But it's not like you're not going to 10x your money on these stocks. Bank accounts, they're giving you like 0.01%, 1% if you have like tens of millions of dollars, maybe. There's nothing. He's done the math. I've done the math. I've looked at everything. He's looked at everything. Many people have looked at everything. There's nothing else except Bitcoin.
That's perfectly set up. That's exactly right. We have all looked at a lot of everything. And it's just
please, viewers, comment down below.
Yes.
Tell us what asset class we should be putting our money into.
Hey,
what is going to not 10x, but what is going to go at least 10 to 20% per year over year for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
That's my challenge.
The viewer in Twitch, make sure you subscribe to our Twitch channel. Hit us up there. Let us know what you think. Just give us feedback on your thoughts, because this is crazy. And there is this widening gap between people that are kind of just full on exhilarated by the science and the momentum of this, like us, myself and Alex being included in that really, really passionate, backers of the crypto movement, the revolution of currency and assets to a digital world, much more digital than even what we're dealing with now, because that's the other thing too. Things have been digital for a while. All of the banking that people do for the last 10, 20 years has all been digital already.
Been done digital.
This is just better digital. So this is better digital. It's better money than has ever been created ever before. Literally, it's the most ingenious spin on currency and transactional security that has ever been created.
Yeah. And the more you dig into the white papers, the more you realize how kind of like eloquent and beautiful it really is. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect. Like, it's perfect until it's proven not to be perfect. But up until today, it's perfect.
Yes.
There is nothing better, right? There is nothing more secure. There is nothing that has been programmed more efficiently. I mean, it even takes into consideration, obviously, with the halving, right? For some of our viewers that may not know anything about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin specifically, Bitcoin halves every 4 years, right? So what does that mean? That means that, I guess I should explain what miners are. What are miners? Miners are the ones that validate the transactions of the Bitcoin blockchain, right? Every time I send you Bitcoin or you send me Bitcoin, there's a bunch of people with computers, and they validate that transaction that just occurred. And when they validate enough transaction, they get rewarded in Bitcoin. And every 4 years, that reward is halved. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone mine if that continues to happen? Well, it's because the guy who wrote, or the group of people that wrote Bitcoin, knew that technology was going to continue to be more and more and more and more fast, efficient. So every 4 years, people were like getting new graphics cards, more powerful systems, more and more computing power to process these transactions. So that's all part of it, and it's a pretty cool thing. I mean, I'm still nervous about the quantum computing stuff. Like, I think Michael Saylor kind of brushed it off, and he kind of laughed at the idea that like maybe it's because I just don't fundamentally understand the Bitcoin code well enough to like not be afraid of why quantum computing may not just be able to mine every single Bitcoin in like 1 second once we build a quantum computer powerful enough. But I think there is a mechanism built into the Bitcoin code that prevents that from happening. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I think, yeah, we have to learn more about that.
We got to learn more about
that
that.
specific thing. I don't know the explicit technical difficulty of that, but I do know that there are difficulty adjustments to the algorithm, right? I think every 2 weeks there's a difficulty adjustment.
Yeah,
Again,
every 2
not
weeks.
To say that quantum computing couldn't work through this, but
no. And then there's the consensus
yes.
algorithm, right? So you can't just have one computer mine everything. Like there needs to be multiple miners also validate. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the blockchain, right? So you couldn't have one quantum computer doing all the transactions. Like the transactions need to be validated across all nodes.
Yes.
So that would like put a governor on that quantum computer.
Yeah.
Right.
Because no matter what kind of computer it is, it's only going to count as one node.
Yeah.
And the way that the consensus works is it's the highest concentration of CPU over numerous nodes, over multiple IPs. So you couldn't hack it with, you could have, if you had some sort of massive farm of quantum computers that somehow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you have multiple nodes of quantum computers? But yeah, we'll dig further into it to be determined.
Yes. We will cover this as to why that cannot happen.
But yeah, please.
Or the possibilities that it, what are those low percentages of possibilities that it could happen? We'll see. But needless to say, it's been 12, almost 13 years in running now. The blockchain algorithm for Bitcoin, and no hacks, no hiccups, no double transactions or what's that called? The terminology they have for double spending.
Yeah, the double spend. Yeah, some asshole like tweeted or whatever. There was a double spend a couple weeks ago, and just destroyed the price of Bitcoin within minutes. And no, didn't happen. It was totally a user error and misinterpretation of what actually occurred. Yeah, the Bitcoin birthday is January 3rd, 2009. So 3 days before the insurrection. 2009. So
it's been 12 years. 12 years and counting now. Wow. Exciting stuff, man. Exciting stuff. I'm excited for the announcement, but yeah, we will definitely let everybody know. You guys will be exclusive audience information for you guys when we make our announcement.
I'm gonna drop some breadcrumbs out there just to kind of wrap up this previous conversation. Our advice to everyone is, and this is not financial advice, of course, do your research, but start getting some roots in some digital assets.
Yes.
And definitely research as much as you can. There's like tens of thousands of different cryptocurrencies out there right now. I would only recommend Bitcoin at this point. Every single other project is very controversial. You just got to do your research. My final piece of advice is research the executive staff of each one of these companies and find out who they are and where they came from and what they're educated on and what they're trying to solve before you actually invest in anything, right?
Well said. Well said. Do your research. That's really, and that's, again, this is not investment advice or any formal, recommendations, but that's just a general rule of thumb. A good common sense rule of thumb is always make sure that you fully understand the people that run the business, that run the company, that run the fund, run whatever you're looking to invest in, because it's critical. It's critical that they align with your values, they align with your, kind of take on things, and they sell a product and service that you can get behind. You don't want to get involved with folks that you either don't believe in or you don't trust. So, great advice, and definitely, make sure that you are keeping an eye out for ways to build your foundational exposure to to crypto in some way or form, but do your research.
Definitely do your research.
Yeah. Interesting. Young ex-wrist.
Yeah, like we don't condone any kind of stuff like this here. I don't know what you're trying to prove, dude.
Yeah.
Like you need to get off the platform.
Yeah. Yeah. Weird. Very weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna report it right now.
Well, with that, I think we've got some interesting chatter going on for the folks that aren't sure what just happened there.
Yeah.
Rogue. Someone went rogue in the comments. The big old internet is filled with fun people from all over the planet. But anywho, bringing it back to very exciting times ahead. Do your research and don't be an asshole. Definitely don't be an asshole.
Yeah, and that actually reminds me of something. That comment actually reminds me of just keep in mind that everyone out there, there's millions of people out there that are hackers and they're just trying to get your assets. So if you do decide to purchase cryptocurrency, make sure that you are purchasing it from a trusted exchange, and then I would even recommend pulling it off the exchange and putting it into cold storage at some point. If you have a certain amount of assets, I would say anything over $1,000, or if $1,000 is a lot to you, it's a lot to me, it's a lot to anyone, then it's probably time to start considering cold storage for that. So
yes,
yeah.
Yes. And there are lots of growing number of industries and businesses that can offer those types of services to you if you don't have the interest in doing that yourself or learning about it. Anyway, there's a whole big world out there. And it's only just getting started. So anything else we wanted to talk about tonight, Alex? I think we're coming up right on the hour, man. This is perfect timing.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back next show. I don't know if we're going to do the announcement next show or maybe in a couple, and then maybe we can deep dive on some crypto stuff. So definitely leave some comments down below. Let us know what you would like to learn about, any specific cryptocurrencies you would like us to talk about or research. We're happy to come back on and answer any questions that you may have in the cryptocurrency space.
Absolutely, yes. And we will be doing a special cryptocurrency only episode where you kind of do it more of a deep dive on things. Maybe we'll kind of coordinate that with the forthcoming announcement. We do have some special things lined up for you, though, for our next episode, which will be our 10th official episode of Soldiers of Science. So who knows? So maybe that could be where we make this big announcement. But there will be some fun stuff lined up for you in store. So definitely tune in. Thanks to everybody that came and watched live, and the folks you're watching the recording. Much love to all of our supporters out there, our subscribers. Stay safe, wear a mask, continue to stay strong. And yeah, much peace and prosperity to all you. Take care.
Beautiful, my friend. Take care, everyone. You know what? I'm just going to roll the intro for the outro one last time and just hit that end broadcast. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.